Now, live from the KakeLand Studios, this is KAKE Sports, Road to the Championship.
Everything comes down to one game, you know, and we're all excited about it.
You know, our guys just scratch and claw and fight.
But certainly now's where it counts the most.
Arizona coming up, big-time program, a lot of history there. It's just another challenge this team is ready to face.
Coming again. Oh, mercy. What a win for Kansas. These guys are as dangerous as anybody in the country, and yes, they are a candidate to get back to the Final Four.
Yes, you are on the road to the championship. I am Shane Ewing in Providence, Rhode Island, 1,300 miles away from Rachel Kilmer in Des Moines, Iowa with the Jayhawks. We'll get to Rachel in just one moment, but first, the Shockers' NCAA tournament journey began last night. A win over Vanderbilt, and check out a score that was an absolute no-doubter, 70-50, as Wichita State completely rolled in this one. They outscored the Commodores 40-20 in the second half as they pull it out. Fred VanVleet, Ron Baker combining for 28 points and earning the right to move on here to Providence. And what is at stake is a matchup where the Shockers turn their attention to Arizona. They flew through the night last night to get here today for practice and media sessions. KAKE Sports' Jake Schlegel was in Dayton last night for the first four as the Shockers moved on, finally regaining a shooter's touch and playing that patented defense.
For the Shockers, it's all about surviving and advancing. They may only be an 11 seed, but they started the season in the top 10 for a reason. They have talent and the potential to make a deep run.
It's always nice to get rolling into the tournament. I'm not too mad about being in the playing game. Being in the tournament is something that's pretty special, and all the games are televised, so just another game.
Against Vanderbilt, the energy and effort was on point for the Shockers. Their angry style of play was too much for the Commodores to handle.
Held his team to 50 points, 20 in the second half. Whew.
We played the way we know we could play, and that was big for us. So we just wanted to bounce back, get that taste out of our mouth.
Their defense led to several easy baskets on offense and got the Shockers rolling offensively in the second half.
I told the guys at halftime that eventually the lid was going to come off. All it took was one, and it's contagious. Shot making is contagious. It's the great equalizer.
It's great to see some shots fall. I think once we saw a couple, it makes it a little easier to get some more to fall.
If you make shots, everything looks good. It's no different. The ball just went in the basket. Honestly, that's the only difference. We didn't do anything differently, especially on the defensive end.
So from the first four on to the round of 64, the Shocks are right where they want to be. One game at a time. One goal in mind. On to Providence, Rhode Island to take on Arizona on Thursday. In Dayton, Ohio, Jake Schlegel, KAKE Sports.
Hey, thank you, Jake. So now facing Arizona, the 17th ranked team in the country, Wichita State will have its hands full with former Hutchinson Community College star Kadeem Allen, a two-time junior college national player of the year. He's doing a great job for the Wildcats, and big man Caleb Tarzewski. He got a chance to know Ron Baker and Fred VanVleet as those three tried out for Team USA at the Pan American Games over the summer in Colorado Springs. And his team's coming off a loss to Oregon, the top seed in the Pac-12 tournament, an incredibly tough matchup tomorrow.
We're just excited to match up with them, and I know Coach is going to have us ready with film and the process tomorrow, just preparing, and so we're excited.
Tough team. Arizona is one of the top, programs in the country for a long time now. They're a really good team. We were able to catch some of the games this year. We've got a huge front line and a couple of young and really talented guards.
So you see how these teams match up. Arizona with the better numbers in every category you see here. RPI, strength of schedule, points, rebounds, assists per game, blocks per game, all superior to the Shockers, but not by much, as Wichita State remains a fairly popular candidate to pull an upset here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Now the Shockers are already a game into their NCAA tournament experience. They've got that win under their belt, while the Jayhawks, they are getting ready to take on the 16 seed in this bit of March Madness we've got here. Rachel Kilmer out in Des Moines. Hey, Rachel.
Yeah, Shane, I'm here in Iowa where the Jayhawks are prepping for Austin Peay. The Governors are out of the Ohio Valley Conference. They got into the Big Dance with an upset win in that conference tournament to win the automatic bid into the Big Dance, and now face a huge challenge in the Kansas Jayhawks. A 16 seed has never beaten a 1 seed, but the Governors are going to try to do that. If you're a KU fan, you're probably not too familiar with the program because KU and Austin Peay have never played before. But like most of the country, Austin Peay knows all about Kansas.
The overall #1 seed, the Kansas Jayhawks, the Governors of Austin Peay.
The difference between a 16 seed and a 1 seed is vast. The Jayhawks, the clear #1. The Governors, just glad to get out of a play-in game.
Yes, I was a little surprised. Indicators were that we might be going to Dayton, but I think this is a good thing. We're, it's a compliment to our team, I think, to some degree, and we certainly respect Kansas and all their tradition and success, and we welcome the challenge.
In some ways, you could say that we got a break because we don't have to prepare for a play-in game, because a play-in game, obviously you don't know who's going to win until late Tuesday night, and therefore you just have the one day.
The advantages Austin Peay has over Kansas are few and far between. But with the Jayhawks on national TV throughout the season, the Governors think they have a good grasp of what they're facing.
Well, this is a tough matchup, no question about it. And, we've got some preparation to do, and we probably know a lot more about Kansas than they know about us right now. So at this point, that's a little bit of an advantage.
I know Bill Self, great coach. Perry Ellis, I like him. I like his game and whatnot. I like how he plays. Him, Frank Mason, the Graham kid. He's doing real good, and they're going to be a tough team, and I can't wait to play them.
And if the Jayhawks do beat Austin Peay, they will face the winner of Colorado-UConn on Saturday. Colorado enters at an at-large bid out of the Pac-12, while UConn won a 4-overtime thriller on its way to an American Athletic Conference title. So just how did Kansas get here, the #1 overall seed in the Big Dance? A look back at the Jayhawk season, that's coming up.
Shocker fans say farewell to a trio of seniors that leave the program forever changed. That's later in the show. But first, a look back at the Shockers season, how they found themselves in a play-in game. We'll have more Road to the Championship on the other side of the break. Welcome back to Providence, Rhode Island on the road to the championship. The Shockers, they suffered some untimely losses this season, but they've won 25 games. They found themselves in a play-in game, and now they are here in the round of 64. Jake Schlegel looks back on a season to remember for Wichita State.
It all began on November 13th for the Shockers. Preseason expectations as high as they had ever been in the Greg Marshall era. Wichita State was ranked number 10 in the AP poll, its first top 10 ranking in 34 years.
We got to be ready. We've been very good in the pre-conference the last handful of seasons, and we've got to do it again.
The Shocks kicked off the season with a win, but did so without Fred VanVleet scoring a point. VanVleet was dealing with hamstring and ankle injuries.
Fred wants to be in every drill. I've said this before, every drill, every day. And, we need him a lot more in January, February, March than we need him right now.
VanVleet was more of a factor in the Shockers' next game against Tulsa. He was electric at times, but clearly hobbled. Held without a field goal in the second half as Tulsa handed Wichita State its first loss of the season.
We still have a long way to go as far as getting to the championship level that we want to be at.
Fred VanVleet is on the sideline.
VanVleet sat out the Shockers' next 4 games, watching from the bench as the Shockers got swept in the Advocare Invitational, falling to 2-5 on the season. A massive hole for Wichita State to dig out of.
We got to come up with an attack that's going to create easier scoring opportunities than the ones that we're getting. Obviously, those aren't easy enough. There's a lot of issues.
But as expected, the Shocks responded, winning 15 of their next 16 games, proving that they were in fact worthy of their top 25 ranking to start the season.
We're starting to come, get round into shape and be the team that we thought we could be.
Here's another lob. Beautiful look from Van Vliet to Morris.
But then the Shockers slipped up, losing 2 of their next 3 games, including a game at KAKE Arena to Northern Iowa, a loss that snapped their 43-game home winning streak, the nation's longest streak at that time.
It's been almost 3 years since we lost in this building, but there's nothing we can do now. We'll have to try to start a new streak.
Once again, the Shockers fell out of the rankings and found themselves on many bracketologists' bubbles.
Putting ourselves in a tough situation going forward.
The Shockers would finish the regular season strong, 5 straight wins by an average of 23 points per game, earning the Shocks their 3rd straight regular season Valley Championship.
Emotions hit me pretty heavily when I lifted my jersey up and just did a 360 looking at the crowd.
A 6'4" senior from Scott City, Kansas, number 31.
It just amazes me how dedicated our fan base is.
We've definitely shown, obviously progress and strides from the team before these last 5 games.
But in the MVC tournament semifinals, Northern Iowa would get the better of Wichita State once again, dropping the Shockers to 24-8 on the season.
You can't be in that room with the selection committee, but you just gotta hope and pray that you've done enough, and expect the best and just prepare for the worst.
But the Shockers' season isn't over yet. One goal still remains. One championship is still up for grabs.
And that is an NCAA championship. It's possible. The Shockers are given 80-1 odds. And while the Shocks are playing the underdog role in the big dance, the Jayhawks will be staying true to their blue blood. How Kansas ended up with the #1 overall seed after the break.
Expectations are high for Kansas every year. This season was no different. But it was, as Bill Self said, the toughest the Big 12 has been in his time at KU, making what the Jayhawks did this year that much more impressive. USA! KU's season started earlier than usual with a summer trip overseas.
USA wins gold for the first time in 10 years at the World University Games.
It's my first one in here. We're real happy about this. We're going to cherish this moment.
By the time late night at the Fog rolled around, the Jayhawks looked primed for another deep run.
We cut down nets in 08. We got real close in 12. Haven't been back to a Final Four for 3 years. Guys, if things fall right this year, this could be our year. Rock chalk.
The Hawks opened the season with a win.
Graham on the alley. There's Perry Ellis.
Before falling victim to Michigan State in the Champions Classic. They then began to hit their stride. But we're still without freshman Sheck Diallo.
The NCAA did not get back to Kansas on what was a core course for 2 months.
Diallo made his debut with a bang.
Diallo, coast to coast.
But it was the upperclassmen carrying the team as they rolled through non-conference without another loss.
A lot of the people that we have on the team been around also, so we know each other's tendencies, and it's just going to be a great year.
Kansas opened conference play with a win before the freshly crowned #1 team in the nation welcomed #2 Oklahoma in a game many will never forget.
And who is the real #1? Is it Kansas or is it Oklahoma?
Craziest game I ever been a part of. I'm just proud of my teammates for not giving up.
You'll never forget this, and this will be a proud one to be a part of. And we beat a team that can win a national championship tonight.
But the victory took its toll. A tired Kansas team embarked on a tough stretch, playing 6 games in just over 2 weeks with 3 road losses. The conference championship streak hanging in the balance.
There's always pressure in sports at collegiate level where the stakes are high and the money's big. But these guys operate under more pressure, I think, than the vast majority of teams do.
The pressure mounting with Kentucky visiting Allen Fieldhouse.
It was a much bigger game to fans and probably the players that were playing it than it was in the big picture. I mean, hopefully it just gives us momentum moving forward in the league.
7 straight Big 12 wins for a chance to lock in their 12th consecutive conference title.
We're really hot right now. We know what we got to do. If we playing the way we're playing, there's not too many teams that can beat us.
A 14-game winning streak carrying the Hawks to a tournament title. And the top spot in the Big Dance.
The overall #1 seed, the Kansas Jayhawks.
A regular season title and a tournament trophy. Not enough for the Jayhawks.
These guys have really performed well consistently at a high level. But in order to make it a special year, you know you got to win in March.
As they begin their campaign to hang a banner once again. The last time the Jayhawks didn't win the Big 12 title as they did this year, the current players were in elementary school. It all started in 2005 in Bill Self's second year at Kansas. They had to share the title in 05 and 06 before winning it outright for the first time in the Self era in 2007. 08 started with the conference title and ended with the national championship. In the following 3 seasons, Kansas dropped a total of 5 conference games. In 2012, the Hawks returned to the national title game, but this time fell short. Perry Ellis joined the team in 2013, and here we are 4 titles later at number 12. Still ahead, Perry Ellis plays his final game for Kansas this March. We reflect on his career from Wichita Heights and beyond. And Ron Baker, Fred VanVleet, and Evan Wessel leave a mark on the Wichita State basketball program that won't fade anytime soon. Stay with us.
Welcome back into the road to the championship here in Providence and Rachel Kilmer in Des Moines. You know, it has been the year of the senior in college basketball across the nation. To lead their teams, but we're going to talk to Rachel Kilmer about Perry Ellis, who certainly qualifies in just one moment. But as for the Shockers, the trio of Fred VanVleet, Ron Baker, and Evan Wessel are now going for their final shot at a national championship, as unlikely as that may have been 4 years ago.
Everybody want to jump on the bandwagon now. We know what it feels like to not have nobody there.
4 years can go quickly, especially for those who elevate their game and their name among the all-time elite.
For me, it's a little overwhelming. It seems to be the only thing everyone's talking about. Everyone's emotions are pretty high around campus.
Baker, VanVleet, Wessel, staples of the Play Angry brand, ambassadors to a fan base that will forever speak their name. So to those fans, a reminder, or at least a recommendation, to approach every game as if it's their last, now more than ever, because they'll do the same.
It's kind of one of those things that you know it's coming, but you don't want it to come, and but just kind of embrace it and just But we got games we want to win. We got bigger goals that we're focusing on, so we're still locked in and ready to go.
Not going to get any of the time back that it's already been past us, so might as well just enjoy this last couple days.
Of course, days can turn to weeks, and if that happens, the ultimate goal will still be in sight. It means one player, more than anyone, has returned to form.
Well, I know I was flat against UNI. I just speak for myself. So just more energy and passion, and I think losing those games, wakes you up. You can put your back up against the wall, and there's no more room for errors.
There is only room for the basketball instinct that's led them here. What they've learned from the heroes who made playing basketball a dream.
It was always been Kobe for me.
Larry Bird, Michael Jordan.
Kirk Heinrich from Kansas.
And from Kansas, a similar dream arises for others who hold on to hope to one day be like Baker, VanVleet, Wessel, the seniors of success. That's what it's all about right there, Wichita State fans. Just remember what you're watching. That's all that we ask. Now, as for Perry Ellis, he has been the rock of rock chalk over the last 4, even 5 years as KU has surrounded Ellis since he committed out of high school. Rachel Kilmer is live in Des Moines with more on the senior as he continues his campaign through the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Shane, Perry Ellis's career at Kansas has been remarkable. He has a chance to finish in top 10 of all-time Jayhawks in rebounding and scoring. His list of awards and accolades is lengthy. But there is one thing he hasn't done at Kansas, and that's been a part of a deep run in the NCAA tournament. This March, he has a chance to do so.
This time, I'd like to decide what school I'll go to. It's the University of Kansas.
Nearly 5 years ago, Wichita Heights senior Perry Ellis announced his decision to become a Jayhawk. Some things never change.
I'm really excited to be here. It went by so fast. Hey man, it went by so fast, and I'm excited though.
But a lot has. In addition to Ellis's 4 state titles at Heights, he's added 4 Big 12 championships and earned a place in Jayhawk lore.
He's been such a rock for us for 4 years. He's been stellar. It's hard to find a fault with the kid that conducts himself like he does.
Ellis has been the picture of consistency for Kansas in his play on the floor and his poise in the huddles.
He is so effective. He just really feels what he has to do.
I do think that his demeanor is, the highs aren't too high and the lows aren't too low. That probably does lend to consistency.
The way he conducts himself is quietly. His play and personality both far from flashy, but still hugely impactful on the outcome of games. A constant thorn in the side of opponents.
I hope people appreciate how good he is, because it's sure when he's not in the game, it sure makes a difference. I promise you, I'd rather play him without him anytime.
It sucked because he's really good, but no, it was fun. He's a very, very good player. I got to watch him and I got to learn from what he does on and off the court, and I just got to take what he does and use it in my game.
He's a great player. I don't know if his number will get retired. I don't think there's any room up there, is there? He deserves to be up there for sure.
A jersey in the rafters at Allen Fieldhouse is a possibility for Ellis. He has a chance to finish in the top 10 of all-time Jayhawks in rebounding and scoring.
Before I came, I had no idea, I would be in this position. It's just definitely a blessing.
And now he has one final shot to reach his ultimate goal at Kansas, one that would solidify his place in Jayhawk history.
I got a goal to go to the Final Four. That's definitely a goal.
Thank you for joining us on the road to the championship. For Rachel Kilmer, I'm Shane Ewing. Have a great night.